Well, I'm going to probably put somewhat of a catchy title on this, but I know YouTube has already been suppressing my videos, so I don't really care much about getting that much attention. I was also thinking about exclusively putting this on BitChute, and the hell with freaking YouTube, but I'll admit one thing. They do have a point about the conspiracy theories that were rampant on YouTube and the misinformation. And if it were that there was true authoritative sources you can trust, I would go along with that. But there isn't. That's the problem. The authoritative sources are typically just money orientated, profit orientated, and the hell with the real truth and what's best for people. But I will say this, and this is actually going back to Aristotle 350 BC, before Christ. The heck with the common era garbage. Democracy is when the indigent and not the men of property are the rulers. In other words, idiots get control. And that's one of the problems with having a free-for-all on YouTube in one way. But the other side of it is we do not have any kind of good leadership to actually be the authoritarian voice. Now, I want to talk a little bit about various topics in this, and I'm going to make some bold claims. I don't give a crap about the FDA, and I don't care about their third world flunkies they put in the FDA to be their attorneys and whatever the heck they're going to say against me, because I'll go scorched earth. And but I want to point out that there are a number of simple things that can actually remove most diseases, and they were in a medical profession widely practiced for many years with great success, and are still widely practiced today in third world countries because they can't afford quote unquote modern medicine. One of them actually is baking soda. Again, the best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. And a lot of times when I was putting out some of these things on YouTube about, yeah, this is a cure-all, that's a cure-all. A lot of things aren't total cure-alls. A lot of things are just aids to freaking help the body heal itself. But baking soda actually is one of the things that can put out of business a large swath of the pharmaceutical drugs. It can get rid of your headache. People take these medicines for headaches. A lot of times this can do much better to get rid of a headache. See, carbon dioxide is actually essential to life. This garbage about, you see the CO2 gases and the greenhouse gas effect. You know what? The more carbon dioxide we have in the atmosphere, it goes up. It helps life. It helps things grow. We'd actually have a much more abundant food supply if there was global warming. There'd be more arable land. Well, you know what that's all about. That's a separate subject, but again, it's kind of related to the money racket game. I'll tell you another thing about baking soda. You hear about all these things that males have with the PSA test for the prostate. If it goes over 10, it's dangerous. 15, oh, maybe it's cancerous. I know they've been debating about this PSA test if it's worth a damn anyway, but even if you had prostate cancer, the treatment is worse than just leaving it the hell alone, because it's such a slow-growing cancer. Well, in third world countries, they'll take a couple teaspoons of this dissolved in water for every day. 6 months later, they can have a PSA of over 250. It'll drop down to like 10 or 15. Still might be high, but you can drop it even lower. This stuff can actually get rid of the problems with the high PSA. They will not do that because it's not in their financial interest to do it. That's just one example. One example. Now, I'm going to embark on something else here because one thing that we are ignoring, and I have put it out on other videos, about the sun, the frequencies from the sun, the hidden energies from the sun, about how you can capture, almost like as in a capacitor, with using a simple Lakowski coil, George's Lakowski coil. It's a simple copper coil that's open on one end. It works like a capacitor. You can actually wear this around your body, around your wrist, around your neck, like a necklace, and it can help with bringing in energies and storing them from the sun and then directing them into the body. But there's more to this than meets what is obvious. Nobody's really sure what the sun is. I'm leading up to a point here. Nobody's really sure what it is. It's not a bunch of nuclear explosions. There's actually frequencies going on in the sun that are like, in other words, the sun is actually it's a frequency machine in a way too. But a lot of people conjecture that it's composed of hydrogen in the form of plasma. Now, I want to say something here that I'm going to be embarking on some experiments with HHO, which is hydrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. It's split from water. And I know it's some really old technology, but I've never used it for health. And I have to say this, that the body itself, we have twice as much hydrogen in the body than oxygen. Now, we're not getting hydrogen from the air. I mean, there's trace amounts of hydrogen in the air. The air is 78% nitrogen, and I think it's like 29 or 28% oxygen, and there's a little bit of, I forgot exactly how much oxygen is in it, but then there's like a fraction percent, it's like 2% maybe, I think, CO2. I don't remember the exact numbers. Then there's like 1%, other elements, which could be partly, the hydrogen, right? But the body has twice as much hydrogen as oxygen. So where are we getting the hydrogen from? What's going on? We're getting it from the water, H2O. The body is actually making HHO on its own. And this is probably why HHO as a health booster is so effective. Now, I've been hearing a lot of reports that it reverse ages. That may or may not be true, or maybe, it may be, but for the cost, if it has great benefits, the costs are nil, because there's ways to make these devices that use just plain water to make HHO, to make H2O into HHO. The devices, if you keep it real simple without all the controls, the safety controls, a couple $100, that's all you need. And I mean, for a quality device that'll produce a lot of HHO. I already have the stuff. I'm going to be putting it together. I'm going to be putting it in a computer case. But what I'm looking at is that the HHO is actually being produced in the body on its own. It has to be. Because if the body has 2 times as much hydrogen as oxygen, it's quite obvious where it's coming from, H2O. But how does it get the hydrogen itself? It has to be making HHO in the body. It must be splitting the hydrogen right off the water itself through an electrical process. It has to be. This is probably why HHO for health is so effective. Now, I don't know if you can actually live forever, but I think you can greatly, greatly extend life. Now, not one thing in itself is going to work to actually do all this, but there's certain things that are very cheap that we need to do that are very much lacking in our everyday world. And other things, people do not use HHO on a daily basis. Now, what I've been doing now is I've been drinking a lot of hydrogen water, and hydrogen water made with a special bottle that splits the hydrogen only from the water. Then it puts the hydrogen in the water, and you drink it, and that goes throughout the body. That's not as good as HHO, because HHO actually has an electrical charge to it. But you start combining these things, you're going to get like a synergistic effect. In other words, they're going to be far more powerful in conjunction with each other than by themselves. In other words, use the baking soda. The baking soda will increase the carbon dioxide in the body, which will also increase the oxygen level up to the correct level. Use the hydrogen. The hydrogen also will work with the carbon C60 in olive oil. One of the reasons that carbon C60 in olive oil does give people more energy, so I haven't seen it myself personally. I've been taking it for the last year and a half though, but I haven't noticed the energy effect. I have noticed the eyesight improvement, no doubt about it. But the energy effect from carbon C60 in olive oil is coming from it being a aid to bring hydrogen deep within to the cells, because the hydrogen goes inside the buckyball of the 60 carbon atoms in a spherical ball, and it carries it deep within all the cells. It helps the hydrogen go to more parts of the body. But if you add hydrogen to the body through hydrogen you put in water, which is a simple, you can get these on Amazon for like 80 bucks. They're not that much money. You want to get the one that only puts hydrogen in the water, that has a membrane that exits the oxygen. Because if you use HHO, it has to be purified through at least one purification bubbler, then you can take it internally. Otherwise, there'll be impurities in the oxygen side that will be coming off the stainless steel plates, or impurities that were in the water. So you want to make sure that's all filtered first. But the filters are very simple. I'm going to actually, to build these devices, I actually have this stuff. I have this stuff already here. I can stick it in an old tower computer case that has a big stand on the bottom and just set it up in there. But this is the simplest way to greatly extend life, reduce the possibility of disease, reverse problems in the body. We got the solution right there in front of us. The hydrogen water is excellent. The HHO is even better. You want to take not just the HHO water, but you want to do the HHO gas. The other side of it is you want to make sure you have the carbon C60, and also I found a colostrum, bovine colostrum of the type I get from Sovereign Laboratories, which is tested and also kosher. It's one of the best ones going. You start adding some of these things together, the synergistic effect is exponential. I mean, of course you need to have all your nutrients and your vitamins and things, and of course you need nitrogen, but nitrogen is abundant and already abundantly supplied in our air supply, which is 78% nitrogen. One of the problems we have is I think the body needs it. If you assist the body with more hydrogen, your overall health is going to be greatly increased. Plain hydrogen is fine, but the best would be HHO, but then again, it's a little more complicated to make that. Water is actually the elixir of life. It's no doubt about it. But energized water, and let's not just say, I don't want to put that out there because energized water can be a number of things, but like just making HHO would be one of the ways to do it. I know there's more technology that can get more expensive. You can use the spooky scalar. It makes scalar water and drink that. Fine. But you're talking about a device that'll run you $1,600 plus $160 for shipping. I'm trying to keep this down where the cost is very low, and what I'm looking at is the most cost-effective things to do is the baking soda water, which what I'll do is I'll just take plain baking soda water. I'll put the lemon in it first. Then I put a little water on top of the lemon juice, because if you add the baking soda, it's going to fizz too much. And then I put the baking soda on top of that. Then I mix it. It fizzes like crazy. But since I put a little water on top of the lemon juice, it doesn't fizz over the glass. It doesn't tend to fizz over the glass. And the top of the glass. And this way, then I drink it. I've drank a lot of the H2 water, the hydrogen enhanced water, where hydrogen is put in water. And like I said, I'm putting together the HHO kit, which I already have one in my 4x4. I put some of it in the engine. The same stuff you put in the engine, or you can use for a welder. It's the same stuff for health. That, I think, is actually going to be the best thing going. But, I will actually, when I see some of these things, like, I know I've read about them, but there is actually there's got to be some, what I looked at, though, is I said to myself, there's no doubt that the body produces HHO on its own. How the hell could we begin? How could we have it's a fact, we have twice as much hydrogen in our body as oxygen. They're both essential to life. I mean, carbon dioxide is essential to life too. I mean, there's a lot of things essential to life. But where do we get the hydrogen from? It's not from the air. The air has way less than 1%. It's got a fraction of 1% hydrogen. It's not from the food. It's coming from the water. Now, how could it possibly be that the hydrogen is coming from the water and it's in the body? The body is a chemical electrical process, just to say in very general terms, because it sounds like, I don't know exactly what's going on in the body 100%, and neither does anybody else. I don't care how many PhDs they have. Nobody knows exactly what's going on, but obviously hydrogen is being produced from the water itself, and the body is producing the hydrogen from the water through an electrical process. I don't know what the cathode and the anode would be or how it's working, exactly what the mechanism is, but it's got to be happening. And the thing is that if you need this is, in other words, your body's expending energy to do this, to produce this hydrogen that you need. This is why when you add hydrogen, it does have such great health effects. What I look at it is, I've been hearing and I've been studying for years now. I haven't gotten around to actually doing it because I seem to get concentrated on too many other things. Like, I take a lot of different vitamins like gotu kola, astragalus root, spirulina, milk thistle, vitamin E, mixed tocopherols, dandelion root, and whatever, the whole nine, magnesium, boron, and grapeseed extract, whatever. But I tend to sometimes ignore some of the most basic things. And some of the most basic things are the things that do the most good. HHO water could probably be the best thing you could possibly do, cost effective. And this is one of the reasons I'm putting this out for. But we'll be getting on this topic, this project here pretty soon. I got a lot of projects I'm working on. I was thinking about not putting this on YouTube because I'm angry at YouTube. I am. I mean, I'm angry at, I guess, the forces that have forced YouTube to be constrictive. But, and I don't really, I'm not pulling any punches on this garbage anymore. I'm getting tired of this. But, I'm not self-censoring myself. I don't give a crap, understand? But you have to remember that there's a lot more going on in our everyday world that can greatly influence our health in a positive way for very, low cost. And that's the key word, low cost. If it's low cost, the authoritative sources aren't going to do it because they're not going to make money off of it. Nah. That's just reality. This is one of the things. I mean, in a way, YouTube or whatever it is, they got a point about. I know, because I get aggravated about these freaking giddy rumors on YouTube too. I mean, sometimes I can't freaking argue with these people. You're arguing with idiots. But on top of it, you also have to look at it like this: the money people do not have your best interest in mind. Their best interest is how much they can line their pockets with. How many dollars they can extract out of you. So, the reality, you're probably better off just having it the other way YouTube used to have it. But as far as what I think is, well, I'm pretty damn certain of this. I noticed that when I take the baking soda water with the lemon, and I don't do this all the time, but I got to get back on doing this because sometimes I forget about it because I get distracted by so many other health things. I don't always stick with some of the most important things, which I'm finding out that they're the most important. When you get distracted by this is good for you, that's good for you, this is good for you, that's good for you, after a while it gets so confusing. Sometimes you miss the most important things. And what I'm pointing out is the most important things are the cheapest, the most simple. Baking soda water with the lemon juice, hands down. That, people's health would be greatly increased. I know my mother's been taking some of the baking soda every day since she was 14. She's outlived everybody that was her, her sisters, her brother, and all that. And she takes no medicines, but then again, she doesn't take any sugar. And, that's a toxic thing. So, I mean, that's part of it. But then, the baking soda alone has a lot to do with this. Number two is, like I said, the hydrogen water. That's cheap. You can go on Amazon or whatever, eBay, whatever it is, and buy a hydrogen water bottle. Biggest disadvantage to it is that um, you could break it because it's a glass thing. I haven't broke mine yet. I'm very careful with it. Watch out. Kitty cat don't walk by it, knock it over or something like that. But I've been using that like quite a bit. I tend to now have it plugged in the kitchen because I'll put the hydrogen, I'll turn it on, the hydrogen water maker. In other words, it puts hydrogen in the water, runs for 3 minutes. I'll actually run it maybe 6 minutes or 9 minutes before I drink it. I'll run 2 or 3 cycles. So I get a lot of hydrogen in the water with the ice and stuff. The HHO water, though, I think is actually going to be the best going. Now, I will be totally convinced this is like the elixir of life in the fountain of youth if I see a 90-year-old person look like a 22-year-old. Most of the time I see all these people advocating this stuff, they do not look that special to me. They'll tell me, oh, this did this for my hair, it's less gray, it's growing back in, I got less wrinkles, I used to have a mole and I don't have that anymore. I'm like, you still look like an old fart to me. That's what I look at these people, and I'm being honest. And I'm saying to myself, this thing was so damn good. If I see a 90-year-old and they look like they're 22, whether it's a male or female, then I'm going to believe it. But I'm embarking on this role because I want to be this 90-year-old that looks like a 22-year-old and is a 22-year-old in every respect. And I'm going to embark on this role. And I know it's not going to be only HHO water, HHO gas, both combined, that is going to do this. But it's a significant jump up from what we've been doing. In other words, most of the body is water. Duh. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when we're looking at, I'm saying, okay, I have vitamin D3. I got 10,000 international units I take a day. And it's one pill. Makes it simple because I was taking like 20 or 30,000 international units. With K2 from Dr. Carlson. I'll take the CoQ10. There's a special, more absorbable kind with cinnamon. I'll take milk thistle. I'll take triple boron, 3 types of boron. Magnesium malate, which is a better type of magnesium. Gotu kola, which is it's a type of herb from China that is, noted for longevity. Astragalus root, another thing. Oh, flax oil, fish oil, borage oil. Zinc. There's a couple types of zinc. Spirulina. Broken cell wall, Chinese chlorella. I don't know, there's more. I can't even think of what the hell I'm taking all the time. I mean, grapeseed extract. I don't know. There's more. But let's say, for instance, this woman is 92 years old. Then you'd be convinced, right? I know she's not 92, I know that. But if she was 92 years old and you looked at this woman, you saw she doesn't just look like this, she is that way. She's vibrant, she's healthy, and all that. Then it works. But the thing is, all these other nutrients, if you look at the human body, what the hell is it? It's mainly water. Another main element in a body, though, is carbon. Believe it or not. That's another reason why this carbon C60 seems to be so good. It's not just bringing hydrogen deep within the body, but it's helping to detox. In other words, all these other nutrients, these trace things that I talk about here, what you have to take, and those help. But the main part is the water, the hydrogen, and You do not want to take oxygen, like the pure oxygen. That's damaging. But the way to bring the oxygen up to the actual correct levels is through carbon dioxide or sodium bicarbonate. Because when you bring up the carbon dioxide, it brings up the pH, it brings up the oxygen levels, and it brings up the electrical charge of the cells. And again, this electrical charge of the cells must be producing HHO at some kind of, very low, like a very small level. Like, in other words, it's not, you don't see HHO bubbling up in your body like you would see when you make it with an HHO device. One of those with the plates and stuff, with the positive and negative and neutral plates. You wouldn't see like bubbles coming out of the water or something like that. But your body's got to be making this stuff, because where the hell would the hydrogen be coming from? It's not coming from the air. It's coming from the water. And the only way it's coming out of the water is through an electrical process that splits it out. Now, if you add this and you assist the body in doing this, I believe this is, I've read a lot of great reports about this, but then again, I think it's an area they don't want people going down this route because it's too cheap. It's going to greatly extend life, vitality, even your intelligence. Because the more alert you are, the better your body works, the more intelligent you are, the better your memory retention is. Actually, to tell you the truth, my memory retention is freaking outstanding. Like if somebody at the CPA firm asked me from something about what happened in 2009 with this, I'll remember it a lot of times. I was like, holy shit, I'm surprised I remembered that. That was like 10 years ago. But that's because I think my overall health is pretty good. I think it's actually excellent, to tell you the truth. But I have not been doing everything I need to be doing. Like, again, I've been concentrating too much on all these little things that are important and essential. But the biggest thing out there is the water. And part of the reason I've thought of this too was about my precious little kitty cat, Miss Tiffany Golddigger, who died of cancer recently, who I was desperately trying to save. You can see my playlist on it. And now that I think about it, I probably could have saved her if I would have given her subcutaneous IV solution, water, but I would have had to got that from the vet, and the vet was a Dr. Kevorkian from hell. She would not listen to any. She didn't want me to help the kitty cat, basically. She wanted to put her to sleep right away. And now I realized that the problem with her was dehydration, which was probably cancer, which I think I got rid of mainly, but there was problems with her kidneys and liver after that. Maybe I couldn't have saved her. I don't know. I don't know. Shit, but one of the things I'm looking at, I'm taking Green Spark full food, special drops, carbon C60, CBD oil, Live on Labs, liposomol vitamin C, the vitamin E, the vitamin D. I mean, everything. The people food made up special with fish oil, borage oil, flax oil, and giving her the whole 9 yards. And also I was giving her Doc Willard water with, which is structured water to help, which absorbs better. But if there was a kidney malfunction, she would have needed subcutaneous IV solution, and I have that right now. I got that stuff now. I was able to get it without a prescription, but I didn't have it back when she was sick, and I did not realize everything that was going on. I do know now, but it led me up to this. Start thinking beyond that, because I said to myself, this is actually the main thing that we need. We're all ignoring it. Everybody says, yeah, drink water, fine. But you know what it should be? Drink hydrogen water. And also drink it's a little more complicated to get. Now, the device I'll be making to make HHO water is going to cost maybe a couple $100, but it's not going to have all the safety things with it. In other words, I look at it like this with safety. Remember Daniel Boone when he walked through the mountains of Kentucky and Tennessee and all that garbage? He went through the Cumberland Pass. Could you imagine if he had an attorney with him? You gotta have, you can't be telling people to go follow this trail because there's a rock over there and they might trip and hurt their ankle, or they might slip on that green moss, and then they'll sue you because they followed you on a Daniel Boone trail going west. Well, you know what? Attorneys, I say, the 95% make the 5% good ones look bad. And it's a matter of nothing would get done without risk. Now, if you don't want to listen to what I'm doing, fine. I'm telling you, I'm doing this. But I don't want to spend $2,500 on a stupid HHO making device that has a timer, spill protection, low level, warning light, with more crap to go wrong, when I can just make it and I can obviously see what's going on with it real simple. Because it's the same stupid thing I have in my 4x4 that I use to supply some HHO to the carburetor to give a more complete fuel burn. It's the same stuff. The other thing is I want to use this device possibly for welding because it's the same gas. Now, when I make this, I'm going to use this for my own experimentation. But if it reverse ages me a lot, I'm going to say, great. You doctors, you don't do it. I don't care. You doctors today, you modern day doctors, hardly any of you recommend using this baking soda, maybe a little bit. But this baking soda could put most of you guys at it, knock out probably 35% of your revenue alone. Especially you prostate doctors, because this would lower the PSA. They do this in countries where they can't afford medicine. Works great. 2 teaspoons, double teaspoons, one teaspoon in the morning, one in the afternoon, or whatever, on an empty stomach in water. You drink that, your PSA levels go down after 6 months dramatically. No medicines, no special freaking vitamins, cheapest stuff around. If you got a headache, take some baking soda. This stuff can pretty much cure any damn thing. Almost. But if you start using this with the hydrogen water and the HHO and your vitamins and stuff, fine. But the main things is the biggest elements in the body. And you also got to point out too, I've been pumping up a lot on the Parazapper on this channel. Parazapper's been proving to work against microbes in water outside the body. Well, what the hell is the body mostly composed of? Depending on who's doing the measurement or how it's being measured, if it's on an atomic level or a volume level, at least 90% of the body is water. So you think the Parazapper wouldn't have a medical effect in a good way? Well, you're supposed to not say that, right? He's a freaking brain, for crying out loud. You know what? If the FDA and the medical community got involved in taking the device like a Parazapper and put it out on the market after it went through all the crap with them, that damn device would cost you freaking $5,000 each. You know that? And you probably have to take training to use it instead of being a few $100, right? This is how we got. Why do things cost so much money? Because certain people are ripping us off. Okay? That's what's going on. But then again, on the opposite side of it is, you got a bunch of freaking idiots out there starting giddy rumors. And sometimes I swear to God, it's these big money people that are behind getting these giddy rumors started to sway people off track. Then obviously you have people like Bob Beck, Robert, whatever his name, Dr. Beck, whatever, PhD, with his Beck Zapper telling he has a cure-all. That was never a cure-all. It helps. It helps. It's not a cure-all. And actually, what I'm telling you here is not a cure-all. Well, what I'm saying is, for the money, it's extremely effective. But it's so effective, some of these simple things. Hydrogen water, HHO gas, HHO enhanced water, baking soda with lemon in water can actually knock out a very, very significant amount of the dependency that people have on pharmaceuticals. Hands down. Oh, that would be bad for business. Really? How do you figure that? You know? If there's a better way of doing something, do it. And if you're just freaking lying in somebody's pocket because, oh, it's, they got the authoritative initials after their name. I'm going to tell you something else here. I just thought of this. I was watching a video on YouTube, 2015. In 2015, it was published from Stanford University. They're showing the two plates, positive and negative electrodes in water, producing HHO gas, like they discovered something. And I was like, you got to be kidding me! It had 500,000 views plus. I said, they've been selling those on eBay for years and years and years. Better devices than the crap you're showing. Stanford University discovers. Huh? People aren't that stupid. You know what it is? The viewers are that stupid for buying their crap. And, there's a lot of disinformation out there. And I do not always think that it's because people in YouTube land are sometimes coming up with these ideas. I think it's they're being, like one of the ones I seen recently is that 5G is going to be used in concert with carbon C60 to control us. Carbon C60 will minimize the effects of the harmful effects from 5G. Carbon C60 was brought up by NASA to protect the astronauts against the harmful effects of radiation and cosmic rays. In other words, the exact opposite of what that rumor is going out on YouTube. But you see, I wish I was the authoritative source. I wouldn't mind it so much. Even though I could be wrong sometimes, I'm not doing this to line my pocket like the other authoritative sources, quote unquote, that they're pushing on YouTube, like, the big network news and pharmaceutical garbage and everything else they're freaking pushing. It's garbage. I'm sick of these guys, man. Susan, I'll tell you what, when it comes down, it bites him in the ass. You look at Steve Jobs. What did he die of? Cancer? Probably didn't have to die of cancer, did he? At a young age, right? What did he do? I don't know what he did. He probably didn't do any of the stuff I'm telling him, saying is good to do. He probably went to a freaking doctor, got the standard chemo, radiation, surgery treatment, didn't work, and he died because you got to get at the root cause. The root cause of most disease is water. I mean, the effects of water. Actually, water. Well, I don't want to get. I've already went very long in this video, but you have structured water, you have easy water. Water could have a complete structure due to frequencies. This is probably why a lot of these quote unquote right frequencies work so well to heal. They're not just working against microbes, they're changing the structure of water. And also, I'm going to say again about the Parazapper, which you have to look on my channel about Parazapper, P-A-R-A, Zapper, okay? It's all one word. That thing is actually putting electrical charge in the body to raise the, like an electron donor, to raise the body's voltage. And I tested this with a lot of use. You don't want to use it just 5 minutes and get a great effect out of it. But with a lot of use, I've actually tested my body with the Thunderbolt body tester, which is another vendor. After using the Parazapper for many, many hours a day, I had excellent body voltage. And I could tell something was going on because I felt really good. Now, there's more things I'm doing And I'm going to put more videos out on this. We're going to be putting some more videos out about the spooky scalar and what it can do in conjunction with other things to synergistically enhance your life. But again, if I ever see somebody that is like 92 years old and they look like this, then I'm going to believe it myself, because I hear all this garbage myself and I'm saying, you know, this guy's saying, oh, this has been so much for my health, or this lady saying, and they look like an old person. You know, if this young lady here with the purplish white hair, whatever their hair is, I don't know what the hell this is. Anyway, that's cool looking hair. If she was giving a speech and saying, here's my birth certificate. You know, I was born in 1927. I'm 92 years old. And I didn't look like this 5 years ago. You know, if I was hearing this spiel, right? And they showed all the pictures going from an old hag to looking like this. And then I would say, guess what? She must be telling the truth. But I have never seen anything like that. And that's what I'm looking for. Not that I think we're going to live forever, ever. But I think we can actually greatly extend life way beyond what's imaginable. In other words, we could be superhumans pretty much. Well, I don't know if we want to use that word, superhumans, but anyway, we'll see. And you remember, all these inventions, where do they come from? Where do they come from? The white race. The white race. Us. Does that mean we're superior? No. It just means we got more to contribute. That's what it means. It means we're freaking better. We got more to contribute. The more you tear us down, the more humanity gets torn down. That's the way that works. Understand? Capiche? Over and out.